the thing. So I have around 30 minutes, but as if you can put me a hard stop if I cross the time. So I'll just quickly wind up certain thoughts that I have uh, with respect to the topic that we have, observing bottlenecks and solutions. Okay, creating solutions. So let's begin with the age-old saying, like uh, necessity is the mother of invention. Okay, so the topic I mainly want to discuss here is the art of discovering ideas. Uh, the topic that I'm telling here, it's nothing new to you, and the points that I'm going to discuss is nothing new. It's all in our subconscious mind. I'm just trying to pull it, act as a catalyst to pull it out and create it into a more conscious mind so that we start practicing it. So that's the only purpose I intend to do with this session. And as I've said, it's not going to be a one-sided conversation. So I want it more like a uh, you know interactive session. So you can also put in the topics or put in ideas, suggestions, anything. So that's how we are going to do about this. So first, let's have a look within our Triassic. Okay, what we have for idea creation and what we have for idea generation, or how we are fostering that kind of a culture within Triassic. So consciously or subconsciously, we have certain aspects within our organization itself, and generating new ideas and building upon it within an organization is called intrapreneurship. So let's see what we have within our Triassic itself, and I've listed here two the aspects. One is the tech bench, and second is the strategy components. So if you think about these things, tech bench originally started because we felt that there is a gap in which there is a technology gap that's coming within the organization, or not able to mentor the people in the right way at the right time, not able to impart the best practices to teams. Okay, that all started with an identifying a gap and trying to fill it with an idea as to what we can do for that. So now it has come as a tech bench, and eventually we don't know. Tech bench could be something that can also be a portal that can also generate business in a later point at some point of time when we have it in a very smooth running. Okay. Now this talk itself is again an idea that has sparked us. If when I was talking to my team in Medicare about joining the Ideathon program and giving some basic primer as to what you need to do and all. So it's all very subconscious activities that we have here, but eventually contributing to what we call as idea creation or ideathon. Next is something called a strategy component. I'm not sure how many of you are aware about a strategy program that we have running here in Triassic since almost going to be a year now. So basically, it came out from a problem that, okay, we are facing challenge with how to identify opportunities, or how to market ourselves, or how to sell our own competitive edge. Okay. Now the management decided to call on a meeting, and in that we took a conscious decision that we'll identify certain things which we have done for our different clients, and we will create our own versions of it, package it, create it as reusable components, and market it along with our current set of service offerings. So I call it component and not as products, because we are not into full-fledged product companies, but rather we create small building blocks upon which we can big build bigger services at a lower cost and time frame. Okay, so I'm trying to cover just two aspects here, which initially Asif also mentioned. Okay, uh, discovering an idea for something. Okay, and identifying how it can create a value for somebody who is going to consume it. So I want to begin with the statement that within Triassic, we have the culture, we have the habit, but it's all ingrained into a certain way. Now, what we need to do is we need to consciously put that across each and every member, so that we become more creative and uh, more with an attitude of problem solving. Okay. Any questions on any of this? Or probably I'll push the question session to the end. Okay. So my topic here is the art of discovering ideas and how we do currently things within Triassic. First things was the activities that we ourselves create. Next thing I want to talk about 2-3 projects and how it has evolved in the period. Can anybody suggest few projects that we have? Or rather, I myself will go, starting from Medicardia to Qker to tag rate. I'll just quickly brush upon 3 areas so that you get to understand what I'm going to talk about and where we are heading to. So the Medicardia was a brainchild of somebody called Dr. Jit, who is an interventional cardiologist. And he identified a pain area that the cardiac physicians were facing when they were going for treatments. So he suggested to create an end-to-end platform with a proprietary algorithm which could eventually identify potential heart risk for a patient on a long term and help a physician to create diagnosis faster and provide remedial measures. Okay. Yes, he was in the domain of being a medical doctor, and he is practicing in the area of cardiology, and he has been quite some time over there, and he observed this kind of a thing and felt that there is a need to address this gap. And that's how Medicardia has come up, and from a napkin sketch to a POC to an MVP or a minimally viable product, we have come a long way in creating a very complex platform called Medicardia. Next thing, let's think about Qker. So before Qker, there were a number of delivery apps, delivery solutions and all. From manual delivery solutions to digital solutions, like from professional to big basket or things like that. Now, where did Qker come into? The Qker people were quick to notice that, okay, we have delivery solutions for fast-moving consumer goods or similar aspects, but we were not having delivery solutions good enough to handle bulk volume commercial things at a very fast pace in the hyper-local market. And that's where they felt that, okay, they need to address that particular area and create a solution so that people who want to send a document to another location without going to courier office, without going to postal office, or without driving all the way to the place and get it done. They identified the pain area, and there we created Qker. Next could be something called TagRail, which is an automotive online dealership. Okay, this is also another project we did, and I think we're continuing that on a small scale. So there, the pain area was people were not finding it easy to go to a dealership, talk to a agent, car agent, and get the details and all. Now they want to do things by themselves. So what they did was create an online portal which could list all the cars, their prices, and when it comes to US, insurance is a very mandatory thing, and they felt that, okay, giving an eligibility for the insurance qualification, eligibility check for insurance qualification is also a must needed thing for the car buyers. And from giving it to one dealership, it spanned to giving it to more dealerships and eventually becoming a successful product. So these are some small examples from within the organization to identify how people are looking at things around and creating ideas. So let me just put in some more examples from what I observed in my daily life. Okay. So first thing I want to tell is, don't confuse ideas to startup ideas of technology companies. Idea can be for anything from IT to car care or a baby care or anything. It need not be a technology focused itself. Okay. Technology is just one thing to deliver an idea in a proper way or create solution in a proper way. But there can be things where technology is also not required, but still creates some kind of an experience for people who find there are some potential areas to improve. So let's think about anything and everything around and find out what we can have as an idea. So I just want to talk about one example of a friend. I mean, so there was this person of mine who was very fond of plants. Okay, and eventually they found an interest in something called a terrarium. A terrarium is a small forest that is created within a bell jar or some kind of a glass vessel, which is closed forever. The idea of terrarium is that these are small forest, concealed forest, which can sustain themselves for any number of years because it's a self-sustaining community. And this person, out of hobby, started making terrariums, and over the period, the couple created dozens of terrariums in beautiful bell jars, and then they started posting it online. So soon interest started coming in. People wanted to buy it because it helped people to create a greener environment within their homes, within their apartments, within their offices, and which does not require watering on a daily basis or any other care on a daily basis, because it's like a forest which is self-sustaining unless you mutilate it in some other way. Now they started building upon that business, and now they are on a successful business of selling terrariums or potted forest. And yes, they use technology, especially on the social media or on the WhatsApp, to do that selling. So it's just an idea discovered just because they found a passion in plants. Okay. Now they might come up with an app later, but again, the basic idea is what? Giving greener spaces. And they realized that people found value in it because it required very less maintenance or zero maintenance. That's the value they created. Now let's talk about our daily modes of communication, which is WhatsApp. So WhatsApp was created as an alternative to costly text messaging using VoIP services. So Skype was initially there, but it was little bulky, and something alternative needs to be there for free texting. Now WhatsApp was created, and people started using it and became viral. And once it started getting into the hands of people, more and more use cases of WhatsApp came into happen, right? And some use cases were like people started doing sales, selling their products and things on WhatsApp. Now WhatsApp community or the WhatsApp people were very keen on monitoring these aspects, and eventually they identified a very potential use case, and they created WhatsApp business. So from messaging and calling function, a whole new enterprise was created called WhatsApp business, and in which we can create menus, we can list products, and finally we can make payments. Are you understanding where we are going to?
Yes, Matthew. Yes.
Fine. So it all happens with creating a culture. There's certain culture of doing things and certain culture of doing things on a routine basis. Okay. So when probably when the Ideathon and all is started, we may all get excited because we felt the sense of entrepreneurship. Yes, it's good. The entrepreneurship is really good, but it's a long way to go into become an entrepreneur. But the thing is that we should keep the fire burning in our bellies. So I just want to talk about the culture, creating and fostering a way of thinking and doing exciting things. And it is not done over a day. People have developed it painstaking over the years, and this culture has helped them to discover ideas and develop it and take it to reality. So this culture development is my focus today with respect to identifying blockades or bottlenecks and creating solutions. The first thing in that aspect is the looking around culture. So from the morning we get up to getting ready to driving to office or traveling in a cab to office, getting into office, we should be very conscious about where we are and what we are doing. That's the looking around culture. We may be IT professionals, but it doesn't stop us from looking around and observing things around. How many of you know about Samir Bhatia?
I know.
Anybody else?
No, it's new to me, new name.
Anybody heard about something called Hotmail?
This is Hotmail. Asif.
Oh,
That was the
okay.
first mail that is invented by Sabir Bhatia. He is an Indian.
Okay.
It was one of the primemost email companies, and it was invented by an Indian before we heard about Yahoo Mail and Gmail. Okay. So there was a time when the internet is not like this. You have internet cafes, one in a district, and people queue there to create a Hotmail ID. This person wanted to do something crazy and he wanted to communicate something to someone without anybody knowing. And he looked around, there was no other solution. And he was a techie, or rather, he was a new age techie, and eventually invented something called Hotmail. Okay, let's talk about something else. Sachin Bansal, how many of you know?
Flipkart, right?
That's right. So anybody know how it got originated?
I understand that they were part of IIT group, but not sure about that basic idea generation. But they were all part of a group community from IIT, I think so. Some IIT.
Okay. So Flipkart originally started with retailing books. You know why?
The Amazon might have they have got the idea from Amazon where Amazon also firstly done something similar, and Jeff
Yes, that's right. But in the Indian context, there was no such experience of book reading other than we can go into a library or purchasing it from a store. And not all books were available in all the retail stores across India. So the Gramavasis had no other option. So there is one shop called Crosswords. It used to be a part of Shoppers Stop group, and the Crosswords used to be in the metro cities. The Crosswords had a culture like you can go there. There will be couches or small stools. Pick up the books on the shelves. These are books actually for sales. Okay, you can read there, sit and read, experience reading, and if you like it, you can take it to the basket and buy it. Okay, but this is only in the metros like Chennai, Bangalore, anywhere. Go and find it. Now the Flipkart people were looking to get books, and they identified that okay, something that's available in Chennai is currently not available in Kerala or somewhere else in Delhi, Now what to do? You can go there and get a book, right? Or wait so many days to get it from a friend or somebody who can purchase and send it to you. Yes, as you said, Amazon is there, but it's nothing there in India. So they created a model out of that and started with the uh, sales of books. Now they had a big challenge: payment. Okay, because we Indians were not used to paying in advance and getting something done, and they invented something called cash on delivery.
That was only in India, I think so. No other e-commerce had tried that. Previously, no, in no other country. Yeah, that's true.
Why it happened? Because they were looking around. They were looking around and studying people. They were looking around, understanding how people react with things, how react people do the buy. Okay, and they also offered the thing to take back, return and replacement. So they were trying to address everything that a potential customer can find as a negative, and they could do that because first of all they looked around and identified a pain area. Okay, and they also looked around and identified how people are doing about it, and they started addressing those. So it's because they were keenly observing things happening around. Okay, so that's why Flipkart originated here well before Amazon, which is already a full-blown setup, was launched in India. And Amazon eventually got launched here because they recognized the potential of online marketing created by Flipkart and later by Myntra. So that's one example I want to share. I mean, I'll be sharing like traditional examples so that it's easy to connect and understand. Next is the curiosity culture. Again, the same is explained in the previous example itself. Okay, the Flipkart brothers Sachin Bansal and Sanjay Bansal were very curious to understand how people do things online. So they modeled each of their actions and identified, okay, what are the process involved, what are the scenarios involved, what are the potential disruptions that can come, and this curiosity has developed them, helped them in developing a very potential model. That's why they were able to precisely pitch Flipkart, even though eventually they got solved, but that's fine. That curiosity was built in them. So when we are looking around, when we are curious about things, we start identifying many things around us. Otherwise, it will be just like closing the eyes and walking. You won't be aware of many things around. Do it make sense?
Matthew, just the problem is that everyone is watching, but everyone is not observing. So what's the just to understand? It's just a doubt. What's the difference? We are all seeing things, but we are not. What makes those people special, like the Sachin and the Samir, Bhatia, and all those? Please, do you have
That's
any?
why I'm trying to tell. I mean, we have certain things within us, but we are not making any conscious effort to think about it. That conscious effort is something that we need to develop. And the points I am mentioning here is when you take that thing effort consciously, what is the structure in which we should do it? Okay.
Okay.
People are observing. We all observe. We all look around. We all see. But we never show an interest to know beyond what we see. Correct?
Correct. That's where some people pop up just in a
Yeah.
matter of seconds into the fame and all those
Yeah.
things. Mm.
And it's now very much evident in the content creators world. We are all seeing the same things in our daily life, but some are quick to create reels out of it. Okay.
Yes, that's true.
And those reels get viral. That action thing is something that we need to develop from within. We can be sitting on a couch and thinking about all these things, but how? ആ ഒരു കൾച്ചർ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് ഈസ് ഫ്രം വിത്തിൻ. അത് വിത്തിൻ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യണമെന്ന് തീരുമാനിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഹൗ വി ക്യാൻ ഗോ അബൌട്ട് ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് വാട്ട് ഐ ആം ടെലിംഗ് ഹിയർ. That's why I said the culture. Culture is something that we develop and practice and retain for a long period, and then eventually it becomes a culture.
Yes, man. മനസ്സിലായി.
Anybody else? Is anybody listening or already into sleep mode? Am I audible well?
Yes, audible.
Hello? Yeah, fine. So when you say about the curiosity culture, we need to be thinking about what we see as to what it is. How does it work? Is there other ways of doing things? Is there a way of creating a better experience? These questions we should be asking ourselves. So curiosity can be fostered, meaning we can create curiosity. So when we see something, when you look around something, we need to set asking ourselves, is there a set of opposite list of things that we have seen here? Okay. Somebody has seen people coming to a daba wala, a chai wala on a daily basis. Okay. What are the other ways of doing things? Is there any other way of doing things? What is the ordinary way and what is a better way of doing this? We should ask questions to ourselves. Then we try to identify unknown things in the things that we see. When we are curious, when we try to more about things, try to know more about things, we identify unknown areas. And when we delve more into it, maybe those unknown areas are the bottleneck areas, which we never know. So that's how we create that culture of curiosity, foster curiosity within our mind, and think more about what is happening around. We need to broaden the mental boundaries. Just a minute. So the curiosity is again defined like, okay, we have Flipkart, we have Myntra, and then Amazon also came into play. Now we also know about Mama Earth or First Cry or Boatma. There are already online stores selling from A to Z of everything. Now, why a special site for baby care or automobile parts or other cosmetics like something like that? Ever thought? So again, that's the look around and curiosity that build these products, because these are already available platforms. And why a separate platform? Because they started observing people who are going for baby care products or beauty care products, and they found that Searching something similar on a Flipkart or Amazon was a very tedious process. So why don't we create specific portals for specific categories? And what are the different things that can be more experience creating in those kind of shopping? They were curious about the things that could happen there. And then they created specific portals for, say, First Cry or Nika, for the specific set of people who want to buy certain things. The next culture habit that I want to talk about is the empathy culture or the pain area sensing.
Matthew,
Interestingly, we have,
Matthew, just to mention that I think we are 10 minutes into our time.
yeah, I'll just wind up in 2 minutes.
No, 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 but
So,
just to mention that,
yeah,
yeah,
I
I'll,
know.
yeah, okay.
So the empathy culture or pain area sensing is something that I've already covered in the previous examples, where we put ourselves into the other shoes and identify what kind of issues they are facing and see what we can do. Okay. That's where that bottleneck identification or uh, creating the solution, identifying certain solutions for things happen. We have to put ourselves into other shoes and try to come up with what they feel and see whether we can solve them through some other thought process. Since I've already talked about it, I'll just cut it and talk to one more thing, the perspective culture. Now, we are all conditioned our mind in a certain way of stereotypes. Okay. Now, be it Flipkart, be it Swiggy, be it Uber, the people behind them had different perspectives to the things that they observed, be it on the solution part or be it on the value creation that their solutions might give to the end customer. So, how many of you know about the model called aggregator model?
I think it's about I think well within the data. I mean, in the we are all part of the tech industry. In the data industry, that there is a model called aggregator where all the data is accumulated, and data is we can push the data into different consumers. Is that what you?
Yeah, similar to that. So, in the context of business, the aggregator model is something that's followed by everyone from Swiggy to Uber to any other similar delivery apps or online stores. Okay, Big Basket and anybody. None of them has real inventory with them, but they provide a platform where people from different parts can come on and sell and bring business. Okay, this is a perspective. This is a new perspective for a technology solution uh, when it comes to redefining the old brick and mortar shops. Uber has no cars of their own. They have no real inventory for themselves. Correct?
Correct.
So that's a new model where they define, okay, how can I go and call a taxi from a taxi stand or from a phone number? What is a different way of doing it? And they define the aggregator model, and hence from them that it has become a very widely accepted way of creating solutions. Okay. Now the next on that perspective will be what kind of value do we give to the customers? Okay, obviously the money value is there, but is there something else? So the people started about thinking about experiences. What new experience we can give on our platform for a person who is shopping with us? Okay, or how what is a good experience that we can deliver on shopping? So if Flipkart has not been launched long back, we would have still called a loafers as shoes. Okay, and we won't be wearing sharwanis or kurtas on our festive occasions because that's not readily available in our stores, in our motor stores. So that's new experience creation that they have created. They identified the right way of names for the categories, right way of name for the products. We would have called flip-flops still as sandals if these shops were not there, unless we are traveling wide and reading wide. So they created a very new perspective on different ways of doing things. So that kind of a perspective change from what we have learned from ages old, we need to change that, and that kind of a culture has to be created. Lastly, I want to talk about the shunning culture or the killing negativity culture. Okay, we always think about, okay, this solution already exists. Okay, this is something similar over here. Okay, or this can go way beyond budget. When we start thinking about ideation or ideathon, this is something that needs to be kept away. Even in some things that is already there, we can always have a better way of doing things. But the only thing we need to think about it. We need to be consciously thinking about it. So when we create this program of Ideathon, one thing that we need to start doing is we need to be conscious about things around. We need to consciously thinking about things around. We need to be curious about how those things are being done. And it can be about anything, not just your technical things. It can be about anything. So once you start creating this culture, don't think that, okay, we will be overnight innovators or overnight entrepreneurs, but it will take time. Once you create this kind of a culture of looking around, being curious, and identifying pain points, being in somebody else's shoes, we'll slowly start getting ideas about different things around us. There are people who have failed in 100 ideas and then become a successful entrepreneur. So I think my time has gone 15 minutes over. This is what I have to say. Thank you, TechBench, and thank you all the participants who have been here. Thank you very much. Any quick questions I can answer now?
Just on the what and I just had to say one small thing here. The thing is that um finally just Matthew left the best part for the last, and he mentioned about um the new perspectives, right? So unless and until if correct me if I'm wrong, Matthew, unless and until we are shying away from our conditioned workflow of everyday work, family, and all those things. And if you're not trying any new ideas, our thought process will still remain the same. So, just like Matthew mentioned, if you are not able to try new things, and entrepreneurship, I think, from what Matthew explained, it's a path to self-discovery. You try to do new things, and when you try to new things, you will find some blockings. That from that blockings, sometimes he'll understand that yeah, this could have been done a little bit better. Unless and until we are not new to ideas, or we are not, if we are afraid to try new things, we will still remain the same. If you are now and finally, and if that's the point that I had to, what I understood from Matthew's entire conversation, what this is what I gained. So, and is that the right thing to understand, Matthew?
Yes, Asif. I mean, I'm glad that the essence got captured and you have summarized it rightly.
Quickly, if you have any other questions, thank you, Matthew. Quickly, if anybody else have any questions or anything that it's a part of sharing, right? We are all learning here, so it's a new thing that we have introduced into the organization. So, if anything, anybody had got any idea from what Matthew had said, it would be very good. Yeah, I'm well aware that we are into the lunch time, but if you can spare a few minutes and just provide your perspective on what Matthew mentioned, it will be really great.
I think Mathew has covered almost, the lighting of new idea. So thanks, Mathew. That's
Thank you,
from my
Anish.
side.
And just the idea of what Mathew has mentioned is basically try to open up new areas of thinking. So it should be our idea to open up, break the barrier, and speak. That could be one step. Just mentioning, all of us, if we can come up with something, it will give one step. Well done.
Yep. It's a self-initiative, and what I've said is the framework to do that.
I think no one has anything to say, and
If else, then we'll call it today.
yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mathew. TechBench really appreciates everyone who joined. Appreciate.
all.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mathew, for your time.
Happy weekend.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tomorrow is working day.
വീക്കെൻഡ് ആയ
എനിക്കിവിടെ വീക്കെൻഡ് ആയി അതുകൊണ്ടാ.
We are all working from different times, so don't mention.
Thank you.